Karabo Mokoena, a young South African woman, was a vibrant and ambitious 22-year-old who had a bright future ahead of her. Born in 1995, she grew up in a loving family that cherished her dreams and aspirations. She was known for her outgoing personality and had a passion for helping others, often involving herself in charitable activities and community service. Her life took a tragic turn when she fell victim to a heinous crime that shocked the nation and highlighted the pervasive issue of gender-based violence in South Africa. Karabo was a student at the University of Johannesburg, where she was pursuing a degree in business administration. She was described by friends and family as a kind-hearted individual with a zest for life. She had a close-knit circle of friends and a supportive family who always encouraged her to chase her dreams. In 2017, Karabo met Sandile Mantsoe, a 27-year-old forex trader, at a nightclub in Sandton, Johannesburg. Their relationship quickly turned serious and they began dating. Initially, Mantsoe appeared charming and successful, qualities that appealed to Karabo. However, friends and family noticed troubling signs in their relationship. Karabo often appeared distressed and unhappy, and there were allegations of abuse and violence. Despite these warning signs, Karabo remained in the relationship, perhaps hoping that things would improve. On April 28, 2017, Karabo Mokoena was reported missing by her family. Her friends and family grew increasingly worried as they had not heard from her for several days. Her father, Chepo Mokoena, filed a missing persons report, and the search for Karabo began. The community rallied together, distributing flyers and utilizing social media to spread the word about her disappearance. A few days later, on May 2, 2017, Karabo's charred remains were discovered in a shallow grave in Lyndhurst, Johannesburg. The gruesome discovery shocked the nation and devastated her family. Karabo had been brutally murdered, and her body had been burned in an attempt to destroy evidence. The police quickly launched an investigation, and all eyes turned to her boyfriend, Sandile Mantsoe. Sandile Mantsoe was arrested on May 10, 2017, and charged with the murder of Karabo Mokoena. During the investigation, it was revealed that Mantsoe had a history of abusive behavior. Witnesses came forward recounting instances of violence and controlling behavior in his relationship with Karabo. Friends and acquaintances described Mantsoe as possessive and manipulative, often isolating Karabo from her friends and family. The prosecution built a strong case against Mantsoe, detailing the events leading up to Karabo's death. According to the evidence presented in court, on the night of April 28, 2017, Mantsoe and Karabo had an argument at his apartment. The argument escalated, and Mantsoe brutally assaulted Karabo. In a fit of rage, he strangled her and then attempted to cover up his crime by burning her body. Mantsoe initially denied any involvement in Karabo's death, claiming that she had committed suicide and that he had only disposed of her body in a panic. However, his version of events was contradicted by the evidence and witness testimonies. The prosecution argued that Mantsoe's actions were premeditated and that he had gone to great lengths to conceal his crime. The trial of Sandile Mantsoe began in early 2018 and garnered widespread media attention. The courtroom was filled with Karabo's family, friends, and supporters, all seeking justice for the young woman whose life was brutally cut short. The prosecution presented a compelling case, detailing the abusive nature of Mantsoe and the events that led to Karabo's death. During the trial, it was revealed that Mantsoe had a history of financial difficulties and was deeply in debt. He had reportedly seen Karabo as a way out of his financial troubles, manipulating her for his own gain. The prosecution argued that Mantsoe had become increasingly violent and controlling as Karabo began to distance herself from him. One of the most damning pieces of evidence presented in court was CCTV footage from Mantsoe's apartment building. The footage showed Mantsoe and Karabo entering the building together on the night of April 28, 2017. Later that night, Mantsoe was seen leaving the building alone, carrying a large bin, which was later found to contain Karabo's remains. Witnesses also testified to hearing loud arguments and noises coming from Mantsoe's apartment on the night of the murder. Forensic evidence revealed that Karabo had suffered multiple injuries before her death, indicating a prolonged and violent assault. The prosecution painted a picture of a calculated and cold-blooded killer who had meticulously planned the murder and attempted to cover his tracks. The trial also delved into the psychological aspects of the case. Experts testified about the dynamics of abusive relationships and the psychological manipulation employed by abusers. Mantsoe was described as a classic narcissist who exhibited traits of grandiosity, entitlement, and a lack of empathy. His need for control and dominance over Karabo was a recurring theme throughout their relationship. Karabo's friends and family provided heart-wrenching testimonies about her gradual isolation and the emotional toll the relationship had taken on her. They described how Karabo had become increasingly withdrawn and anxious, often expressing fear and uncertainty about her future with Mantsoe. These testimonies highlighted the psychological trauma inflicted by Mantsoe and the gradual erosion of Karabo's sense of self-worth. On May 3, 2018, Sandile Mantsoe was found guilty of premeditated murder, assault with intent to cause grievous bodily harm, and defeating the ends of justice. The judge, A.J. Johnson, described the crime as brutal and senseless and condemned Mantsoe's attempts to cover up his actions. The court also highlighted the impact of the crime on Karabo's family and friends, acknowledging their pain and suffering. Mantsoe was sentenced to an effective 32 years in prison, with the judge emphasizing the need for a strong message to be sent regarding gender-based violence. The sentence was met with a sense of relief and justice by Karabo's family and supporters, although it could never fully heal the wounds caused by her tragic death. The murder of Karabo Mokoena sparked a national conversation about gender-based violence and the need for greater protection for women in South Africa. Her death highlighted the systemic issues that allow such violence to occur and the failures of the justice system to protect vulnerable individuals. In the wake of Karabo's murder, there were numerous protests and calls for action from various organizations and activists. The #JusticeForKarabo hashtag trended on social media, with people from all walks of life expressing their outrage and demanding change. The case also led to increased awareness and discussions around toxic relationships, the signs of abuse, and the importance of support systems for victims. Karabo's family established the Karabo Mokoena Foundation in her memory, aiming to support victims of gender-based violence and provide resources for those in need. The foundation also works to raise awareness about the signs of abusive relationships and the importance of early intervention. The case also prompted government officials and lawmakers to address the issue of gender-based violence more aggressively. There were calls for stricter laws and harsher penalties for perpetrators of domestic violence. The South African Police Service faced criticism for their handling of such cases, leading to reforms aimed at improving the support and protection provided to victims. Karabo Mokoena's tragic story has left an indelible mark on South African society. Her death brought to light the urgent need for a cultural shift in how gender-based violence is perceived and addressed. Her legacy lives on through the efforts of her family, activists, and organizations dedicated to eradicating such violence. The Karabo Mokoena Foundation has made significant strides in supporting victims and raising awareness. They provide counseling services, legal assistance, and safe spaces for those escaping abusive situations. The foundation also conducts workshops and educational programs to inform communities about the signs of abuse and the importance of early intervention. Karabo's story has also inspired numerous campaigns and initiatives aimed at empowering women and promoting gender equality. Her life, though cut short, continues to be a catalyst for change and a symbol of resilience in the face of unimaginable tragedy. She is remembered not only for the horrific circumstances of her death, but also for the vibrant and compassionate person she was.